Maybe it's not fair to make the 2020 CMA Awards about who isn't going to be there unless it's one of the 5 Entertainer of the Year nominees, an artist who arguably is the biggest star on the planet and someone who has literally been the face of the show for over a decade. Luke Combs, Miranda Lambert, and Eric Church are all set to perform live from the Music City Center in Nashville. Keith Urban is going to perform from Australia. Carrie Underwood, cue the tumbleweed. Nope, Carrie Underwood is not set to perform or even appear at the 2020 CMA Awards, which means as far as we can tell, if she wins, the hosts are going to have to accept the honor on her behalf, which is a real buzzkill. I'm Addison Hager for Taste of Country, and this no-show comes 1 year after everyone thought the award was teed up for Carrie. In 2019, the show was all about women in country music, and Carrie came back to co-host, but the honor went to Garth Brooks. She seemed crestfallen, and fans began to speculate that she'd stick it to them by not turning up, an idea that has become more attractive in the months, days, and weeks leading up to it. Is it true? We're bringing in Taste of Country's Billy Dukes to answer 5 burning questions, beginning with, what is Carrie nominated for at the CMA Awards?
That's an easy one. She's up for Female Vocalist of the Year, an award she's won 5 times before, and Entertainer of the Year, an award she's been nominated for 2 times before. This is an off-album cycle year for Carrie, which means she wasn't going to be touring anyways in 2020. She doesn't have any new music to promote aside from her holiday album. She's kind of been focusing on other endeavors all year long.
Before we jump into the next question, I have a question for our viewers. Which category or categories, Billy Dukes listed above, do you think Underwood will take home the win in? Let us know in the comments below. Okay, back to the questions. What has Carrie said about the 2020 CMA Awards?
Well, her next message will be her first message. This is where I think there's a little bit of a heat to this rumor that she's somehow getting back at the CMA Awards because she lost Entertainer of the Year in 2020. She messaged about the ACM and CMT Awards on Instagram, but she's kind of pretending that the CMA Awards don't exist. I mean, she's an Entertainer of the Year nominee. I mean, this is a really big deal, but for the most part, she's been promoting her new Christmas album and Kalia by Carrie, her clothing line, just about anything else.
Why isn't she hosting any longer?
She quit. Last December, she made that announcement saying, it's time to pass the hosting torch. I mean, you should know this, Addison. We did another 5 burning questions video on this topic. What? Okay, it was a year ago. Listen, she did it for 12 years. She did a really good job. Brad Paisley was done with it. I totally get why she wanted to focus on some other things. And I suppose you could say that her staying away from the show this year is making sure that the focus is on the new hosts, not her. But I don't think Reba McEntire needs any help grabbing attention for herself. She's a pretty big deal, too.
You've talked to her. Do you think Carrie would be this vindictive?
As in, do I think she's capable of seeking this kind of revenge? Before He Cheats is just a song, people. Carrie is really much more professional, and she knows that the Country Music Association isn't to blame for her not winning last year. I do think she was stung by that, but blame the voters. Her fans really look forward to seeing her on television, so not appearing for this reason is really just a way of penalizing the fans. That's something I think she would think through and not do. Frankly, she's not that emotional, and she's said as much in interviews. I seem to recall her reflecting on how detached she can be. There isn't a single part of me that thinks Carrie did this and then said, yeah, that'll show them.
Okay, so why isn't she here?
I think it's the COVID. I think that CMAs probably asked a lot of artists to appear in person, and doing that right now in Tennessee is kind of a scary prospect. Can we trust the award show producers to keep everyone safe? That's really kind of unfair to expect, considering you have a bunch of young men and women running wild out there without a bubble. Carrie's practical. I think she's simply weighing risk and reward and saying, you know what? I don't want to bring that to my family. Frankly, I'd probably do the same thing.
Give this video a thumbs up if you're bummed that the singer will not be performing at the award show this year. And thanks, Billy, for the insight on Underwood and the 2020 CMA Awards.
Yep, no problem, Madison.
Thanks for watching, and as always, thanks for subscribing.